In association with Alleviate Tax, championing mental health, and Don King Productions. It is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Executive Director Andy Foster, Chairman Peter Villegas, along with the World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Suleiman, Supervisor tonight, Mohamed Noor. Our three judges assigned, scoring on a 10-point must system will be Tom Milley, Raimundo Perez, and Pat Russell. Our referee in charge will be Jerry Cantu. And now, boxing fans joining us live worldwide, and boxing fans here in Los Angeles, California. The hour of truth has arrived. Introducing first, the challenger. Fighting out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing navy blue trunks and weighed in officially at 199.8 pounds. Coming to us from Yerevan, Armenia, he brings a professional record of 27 wins, 3 defeats, 12 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the challenger and former WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Noel the Dark Horse MIKAELJAN. And his opponent across the ring, he is the defending world champion, fighting out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing black trunks and weighed in the same as his opponent, 199.8 pounds. A native of Stockholm, Sweden, he is now fighting out of Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, and was a 2008 Olympian, now with a professional record consisting of 29 wins, 3 defeats, 3 draws. 17 of his 29 wins come by way of knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the 3-division world champion, and tonight, the reigning and defending WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Badou Jack the Ripper!
Second. Gentlemen, both your trunks are high. Right down here is going to be illegal for both of you. Gentlemen, you've been given your instructions in the dressing room. I want a good, clean, hard fight. You will obey my commands at all times. You will protect yourself at all times. You understand that? Gentlemen, touch gloves.
WBC Cruiserweight Championship of the World. Referee in charge, Jerry Cantu. Reffing for the final time in his illustrious career. Will it be repeat for Badou Jack, or will it be redemption for Noel McKillian? Rematch season here during the holiday season. This one scheduled for 12 rounds or less. Badou Jack and Noel McKillian collide yet again, this time in Los Angeles. Great for us, Paulie Malignaggi, Sean Porter. Here, fantastic crowd and those watching around the world.
Another interesting thing we didn't talk about, I'm sure, the ring is smaller here. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely going to change the complexion of this fight as well.
The geography could change.
Mm-hmm. And we know Badou Jack loves to be able to sit down in his punches, and Paul, you mentioned about the jab being a factor for Noel McKillian.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a factor for both guys, really, because like Sean said in the intro, too, the counter right hand of Badou did work at times in the first fight, so it's going to be key if McKillian tries to establish a jab, Badou's ability to counter with the right hand to take that jab away.
I like how active Badou is early. Both these guys are active.
Good shot there from McKillian.
Wow. That backed Badou up, didn't it? Is that a right hand?
Yeah, right hand.
That caught Badou Jack. There's a right hand there by McKillian. Badou Jack as said, once he gets past McKillian, he's focused on unification. Best jab there by McKillian. Oldest cruiserweight champion in history is Badou Jack at 42 years of age. But Badou Jack told me yesterday during the weigh-in, age is but a number. Yeah. He's proven that.
And sometimes. Like I was going to say, I was pleasantly surprised at the activity of Badou early on. He's moving, a lot of feigning, and also using that jab much, much more than I'm used to seeing him in the first round of a boxing match.
And also, he's kind of changed up some speed on it as well. A lot of times when he doubles it, the first one's a little slower. The second one has a more snap on it. Again, when you can be a nice right hand, a nice return from McKillian, when you can be creative with that lead hand, it can dictate the pace for you a little bit better.
Good right hand there by Badou Jack moments ago. Under a minute left here in the first. Stopping right hand there by McKillian.
Yeah, I always refer to the jab hand as the control hand. It controls everything. The range, distance, the tempo of the fight, your opponent, direction, everything. Jab does everything.
Good right hand by McKillian.
.30 seconds left. You just kind of see that weight just kind of going both ways.
Mm-hmm. You know, Badou's got Italian gloves on. It's wild. Leone.
Why did you say that's wild?
No, but I don't usually see Leone gloves in the United States. You know,
I kept looking at him. I was like, is that Everlast?
No, Leone. Leone means lion. Leone is the main boxing company in Italy. It means lion. Lion.
Okay, yeah.
The animal. But you usually don't see those gloves in the U.S.
And that ends round one.
Yeah. I wore them twice, but in fights that I fought in Europe. Tactical round one, guys.
I gotta say, I think both men had some glimpses in round one, but again, it's a 12-round fight.
And Ray, again, just like the first one, are these two guys going to be able to really separate themselves? Are we going to see somebody with a clear separation, or is it going to be another one that's going to be tough to score?
You know, when we talk about that separation, we usually start to see that with the greats. We see that around maybe 4 or 5 rounds.
Once you start getting the timing.
In a 12-round fight. Other fighters, good fighters, you'll see that maybe 8, 9 rounds in.
But Badou is also the kind of guy where, you know, he does a good jab from McKillian. That was the one that stumbled him. I thought it was a right hand. It was a good jab, actually. It was a good jab.
Badou said, hold on. That was 42-year-old right there.
He's like, all right. That woke me up.
They said we only need one replay.
In the first fight, the first 3 rounds, McKillian got off to a hot start, and then Badou Jack was able to really showcase himself in the second half of the first half of the fight. He won the last 2 rounds on all 3 judges' scorecards to capture the victory. So he closed the show strong, but McKillian started strong in the first fight.
And so now, you know, again, it's about being able to maintain. You got to set the tempo, and once you set it, like, you have to maintain and hold on to that.
Yeah, that consistency is key. It's at the championship level, buddy.
Now, Paulie, what's it like when you fight a rematch, and what goes through your psyche? You fought Juan Diaz in a rematch, but what goes through your mind in that rematch?
Yeah, I fought several rematches in my career. I mean, you know, you're a lot of times when there's a rematch, there's I don't know about these guys, but this could be the bad blood because both of you are thinking you won the fight, so now you have to prove each other wrong even more so than you were out in the first fight. So there's a bit more of a chip on your shoulder as well, you know. And I feel like you know, with these guys, that chip could be, you know, whoever has that chip could be make the bigger difference in the tempo of the fight.
Sean, you fought Julio Diaz in a rematch. What was your approach in that one?
Yeah, you know, just knowing how the first one went for me, my mentality was way different in the second fight. I was much more determined, and I was turned on. The first fight, I wasn't as turned on.
Chip on the shoulder, see?
Yep. That's exactly what it was for me. It was chip on the shoulder, and I have to show the world I am who who I say I am.
Do you go back and...
Dennis Green. Remember that? They are who we said we are.
Oh, yeah.
They are who we thought we were.
They are who we thought.
It happened when Devin Hester decided to beat the Phoenix Cardinals by my Chicago Bears. But right now, under a minute left in the second round, do you guys do film study in the lead up to the rematch, or do you leave that more to your trainers?
I was a film guy. I don't know about Sean. I liked watching film. I was always analytical in a lot of things. I guess it comes out in my commentary as well. I was always a very analytical thinker as a boxer.
I wasn't a film guy early on in my career. That rematch, I remember I didn't watch any. I was so turned on. There's nothing you can do tonight. And, I prepared very well for that fight.
It all depends on how you approach it. But right now, again, McKillian, good right hand there that landed.
McKillian a little bit more on target than Badou in this first round, also in the previous round. But you take a look at Jonathan Banks in the corner of Badou, you would assume that they're a little bit more prepared from an X's and O's standpoint.
Badou is a good hook there, but Badou touched the body a little bit.
Left hook, two left hooks and a right hand by Badou Jack. McKillian did say, though, because he had enough right hand, and they're mixing it up at the end. Tempers flaring at the end of round two. McKillian did say that the layoff, or that an extensive... Go for it, Paulie.
I was going to say, Gary Cantu, this is his last fight. He's like, I'm not having any of this. Get back to your corners right now. I'm not dealing with this crap tonight. It's my last fight. Don't do this to me.
He's very authoritative, is Jerry Cantu. We go back to what happened in the second.
Showing a jab downstairs, little counter right hand over the top by Badou, and then the
McKillian comes right back.
Good hand positioning by Badou defensively, though.
I think this is the sequence we saw right here.
Yeah, see, Badou's hard to hit clean, right? I mean, although he's got hit clean there with that counter. And this is after the bell, yeah.
And there is that Jerry Cantu admonishing both guys, being very stern. McKillian said that as we get ready for the third round, that he was able to have a full training camp. He said, I didn't have a full training camp in the first fight. He didn't blame the loss on that, but he said, I'm going to be a better version of myself because I have a full training camp, and now he's with Pedro Diaz.
I believe that wholeheartedly. Like we already know. You look 3 weeks before the fight, you got called in. This one, and he looks more prepared for this one as well. Just 2 rounds in.
The jab has been more consistent here. One thing I've noticed in the last round with Badou, he's going to the body, he's touching the body a little more. There he goes again. Just making those commitments to the body here and there. McKillian is too, but when Badou goes to the body, he's typically a very accurate and strong body puncher. Good combination there by McKillian.
Nice combination right there. Again, it's about taking control. Keep going.
Yeah, he's having a busy round here.
McKillian, known as the dark horse, going after victory number 28. And trying to, once again, become WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the World. McKillian going forward.
Head straight up in the air. He got caught with a hook.
Yeah. Oh, but a headbutt too. But he ran into the head. You headbutt yourself sometimes.
Badou Jack been with Jonathan Banks for quite some time. Jonathan Banks went over to Dubai in the Arab Emirates to train Badou Jack for this fight. That is where Badou Jack resides. Good right hand there.
Level change by Badou. The sneaky right hand as he went. Level change like he's going to the body, and then he got a good right hand to the head, and that's because he's shown a couple of good right hands to the stomach in these last couple of rounds, and he had McKillian thinking about it. And when he changed levels, McKillian bought the body shot, but Badou was going to the head.
It's clear Badou Jack hurt McKillian, but McKillian reestablishes himself. And hand over the top, blocked by Badou Jack. Good right hand again by Badou Jack. Oh, that hurt McKillian.
That counter right hand that Paulie told me about.
That's the thing. Can Badou hurt McKillian enough to the head in this weight class? Can Badou be a hard puncher to the head in this weight class? I'm not sure, but his body punching, I think, can do a lot of damage. Because Badou has always been a very effective body puncher, and because he's very accurate with the way he places his body shots.
And Badou's heavy-handed. He's not a shocking puncher, but he's got heavy hands.
He tries to punch through you.
Yep, there it is.
Under 30 seconds remaining here in the third.
Having said that, I'm not sure he can be a big puncher to the head in this weight class coming up from super middleweight. But the way you're saying, Sean, the way he punches, if he punches like that to the body, you can see that he can get results. Good right hand there by McKinley, and partially blocked there as well by Badou.
You just got to keep going. You know, it's something that my dad always taught me. If you're not getting the body, it doesn't matter. Punch those elbows, punch the bicep, punch the shoulder, wear your opponent down.
The punch is long, the fight is long enough where they'll show results.
There it is.
Well, there's a lot at stake in this matchup. Not only the WBC Cruiserweight Championship of the world, but huge fights, especially as Cruiserweight has become a burgeoning division. Who could be next for the winner of this fight? Could it be Zurdo Ramirez? Could it be Jai Opetaia, Ryan Rozicki, David Benavidez? You know, obviously one notably missing is Jake Paul, who's campaigning in the Cruiserweight division. He's fighting Anthony Joshua coming up next week.
That's 4 big, bad names right there. And to be honest with you, I really don't want to see Badou in the ring with any of them. I definitely don't want to see McKinley in the ring with any of those guys either. There's levels to this.
The replays here. McKinley, when he puts the punches together, does a nice job. Punches don't always get through, but he drives Badou back. He forces Badou to break that position, which is what I was talking about at the top of the show. You got to force Badou to break position if you're going to be successful, because if you don't force him to break position, he can counter you like he did there in that last replay.
Yeah, the replays didn't show it, but I actually had Badou winning that round. That round very close as well. We've had 3 close rounds.
Another counter either way. There's another counter over the top of the jab.
Round 4, scheduled for 12 between Badou Jack and Noel McKillian. Good stiff jab there by McKillian. Good right hand there by McKillian. And now Badou Jack looking to answer back.
Badou with those counter overhand rights. Very clean. It's the best punch for him. I think he needs to use that jab hand more. That'll stabilize McKillian, but that overhand right, he has a home for it whenever he throws it. It's a counter right, but it's kind of a chopping overhand right.
Badou Jack certainly has a lot of power. You don't go from being super middleweight, light heavyweight to now cruiserweight, being a 3-division world champion without having power.
Yeah, he's got a lot more than power though. Badou is a very, very crafty fighter.
Well, he's a 2008 Olympian. He represented Sweden. Did Badou Jack.
And let's talk about that power real quick, right? Because it's not always about the muscle. And it's also about the punch placement. Also what's happening that creates that power. Is your opponent coming into the punch, that creates power as well. So there's more ways than one for Badou to have a big effect on this in this bigger weight class.
A bit of rabbit punching. Jerry Cantu admonishing Noel McKillian.
Oh, McKillian been shaking his head no all night. I'm like, does this dude speak English? Like, he's trying to be as foreign as he can tonight. Like, he's making some big errors. And then he's just like, what am I doing? What am I doing?
And Sean, Badou Jack spent over 12 years living in the United States, specifically in Vegas. You're a Las Vegas guy, you're a Las Vegas resident, so I assume you guys saw each other and ran in some of the same circles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Badou is one of the few guys in Las Vegas that I would see out. My kids actually go to the school that his kids were going to before he left. He's like, oh, man, take them to Challenger School. I'm like, perfect. So, yeah, Badou and I were great friends back then.
Clash of heads, guys, clash of heads.
Yeah, now he's trying to take Noel McKillian to school, is Badou Jack.
Clash of heads. Let's see if there's a cut. I don't know. Let's see.
Hopefully not. Badou Jack blinking. And Badou Jack had one of the nastiest cuts. He's known to be cut. That cut against Marcus Brown that went down to his skull almost. And he continued to fight, did Badou Jack. That's the kind of warrior that he is. A fighting world champion.
Yeah, Badou's quick with the counters, also the precision. That's where he's made a successful living in the boxing ring.
And you see off the break, or you see how I said in the first fight, Badou was more alert in the breaks and in the clinches. You saw at the end of that round when as they were breaking again, Badou very sharp with the right hand.
Yeah, that was after the bell.
And of course, some more theatrics after the bell. You just said that.
Well, right now, as we see, Jerry Cantu warned Badou Jack, hey, you better be aware of hitting after the bell. We're seeing a little bit of swelling underneath the left eye of Noel McKillian. You see the swelling outside of the left eye, but that could be problematic moving forward.
This counter punch that we've seen from Badou, this timing and this precision right there. This one, that wasn't one of the cleaner right hands that we've seen. Right here, boom.
But it's all based on position.
Exactly.
Sean.
A short step back, and then we release.
And that's why it's important for MIKAELJAN to force Badou to break position. If you don't force Badou to break position, he keeps that high guard, keeps a position, and he'll punch in between you, or he'll punch right as soon as you're done.
And I like the way that round ended. Again.
Even in the break, you see right there? Again, look who's sharp in the break. Again, in the clinch, like I said in the first fight. In the clinches, Badou was much more alert.
Well, they're certainly making Jerry Cantu work very hard in this last fight. Sofia Gutierrez, you've been listening to the corners. What do you have?
Yes, I was in the corner of Badou Jack. I couldn't get any updates on the cut, but they did say you need to keep tight and you need to control with pressure.
Thank you very much, Sofia Gutierrez, with that outstanding ring report. What did you take away from that, Paulie?
Well, you know, it's just Badou's style is based on psychological pressure, psychological breaking you. So that pressure that she's talking about, that she heard in the corner, that's basically just making MIKAELJAN put yourself in a position by not busting position, so that you force MIKAELJAN to panic, maybe throw more reckless punches, and you can make him pay for them.
Smart guy right here. Because when you hear pressure, you automatically think, go after your guy, be aggressive. It's not always like that, especially not for Badou. For Badou, that position is the pressure.
Yeah,
and this right here, the little scoop forward, that's what Jonathan Banks is talking about.
A lot of times, Badou conserves energy putting pressure on, because it's not a pressure where he's throwing punches. It's a pressure where he's forcing you to work harder than you want to work without him doing anything.
It is.
It's just an illusion. Good body shot by Badou. And again, inside the clinches. Remember, inside the clinches, it's Badou. He's more rough. Again, uses that experience. That's where MIKAELJAN has to be careful not to let Badou steal the moments in those clinches.
That was a great body shot by Badou. I want to see more of that, too. Kind of leaped in with that hook to the body.
The hook there from MIKAELJAN. The second one a bit wide.
Well, Badou Jack was floated around as being a possible opponent for Canelo Alvarez, but Canelo wanted him to drop down, and Badou Jack said, it's nothing that I want to be able to do, but look, there is money to be made here in the cruiserweight division. Badou Jack has mentioned Jai Opetaia about if he's successful tonight and unifying the division to a degree.
That's a tall feat for Badou, because you got a young man that knows what he's doing with his hands, knows what he's doing with the entire ring. It's a lot to deal with, but Badou has had this ability to slow fighters down and get them moving on his tempo, his music, and you know, maybe that's something he could do with Opetaia should he win this fight.
Well, he's got to deal with Noel McKillian in the rematch here. That's left hook there by McKillian.
Return fire from Badou again. Badou with the tighter punches and tighter defense inside. Nice body shots again from Badou. That's where you will get McKillian's attention. I'm not sure Badou can hurt McKillian to the head. I don't think McKillian's ever been down in his career, right, guys? But the body shots can get McKillian's attention.
And McKillian is actually the favorite coming into this matchup. Even though he lost the first fight, Badou Jack is the underdog.
Yeah,
they don't give you respect when you're in your 40s, I'm telling you.
That's exactly what it is, too.
He's over a 2-1 favorite is Noel McKillian. That ends the 5th round.
Yeah, they had me as the underdog in my BKB fight, too. Can you believe that?
What you get.
You've proven them wrong, Paulie, is what you're doing, and we'll see if Noel McKillian can prove the odds makers right, if Badou Jack can prove the odds makers wrong. There you see Pedro Diaz in the corner, Noel McKillian. Through 5 rounds, guys. Your thoughts?
You know, I feel like Badou's just a little cleaner. But it's not easy to separate them through 5 rounds so far. So this is going to come down to, you know, those late championship rounds and who takes control. If somebody can grab the bull by the horn, so to speak. Yeah, Sean, take us through these replays.
Yeah, man, I got nothing for you guys in terms of the score. You're looking at the replays. This punches aren't landing clean. You know, one fighter's a little busier than the other at moments, but then the other fighter picks it up and he's busy at moments. It's this one's gonna be tight. This one's going to be tight, and the loser's going to be tight, too.
Yeah, much like their first fight back in May, but this one here in Los Angeles. Round 6. This one is scheduled for 12. Badou Jack, the champion. Noel McKillian looking to become a world champion once again and avenge that defeat from back in May.
If I was in Badou's corner, I would be preaching, harping, making it extremely important. Go to the body, go to the body, go to the body. Get those hands to drop down. Get your opponent's attention, and then bring it back up to the top.
Good body shot there by McKillian. 2 body shots there by McKillian.
You know, we're talking about body shots of Badou. McKillian wouldn't hurt him to go to the body more consistently as well. You got a 42-year-old guy in front of you, and you can break him down going to the body.
Come on now, like when we talk about exploiting your fighter's weaknesses, that has to be a weakness of a 42-year-old man. Get to the body, pulling that oxygen out of him.
Busy round so far from McKillian. He's been using the jab well. Oh, good. Again, Badou in the clinches, more sharp. He's just more alert. Again, that craftiness of a veteran.
Both in close distance now. Badou Jack looking to walk down No McKillian. They both jab at the same time. Badou Jack has been a pro for 16 years, 6 months, 7 days. McKillian, 14 years, 6 months, and 16 days.
You know, guys, you talk about Badou was in Vegas. Badou actually started in New York. Badou used to train in Gleason's gym. I remember when he got to New York first.
Oh, wow. He was with Shannon Briggs, right?
Yeah, before he got to
right hand there
before he got
Badou
to Vegas, he was in New York first.
And then I go all the way back to the amateur with Badou, seeing him at World Tournaments, 2007, 2006, 2007, yeah.
He's a 2008 Olympian, and now Jerry Khan 2, separating the 2.
Did he represent Gambia at the Olympics or Sweden?
Sweden in the Olympics.
Yeah, Sweden. Okay.
2.
I know his heritage is Gambia.
Under a minute left here in the 6th round. Inside work there by McKillian. As Badou Jack looking to work on the inside.
And McKillian's had a busy round.
Yeah. I mean, how do you judge this fight, man?
It's certainly, if you find something from the judges, moments of success, and if that leaves an impression in your mind, these final moments could very well be the determining factor of who wins the round.
These guys, both these guys, even if this fight should have ended in a draw, they'll be mad, they'll be saying, they'll be arguing, I won. But you can't fight a fight like this in close quarters. Yeah. You got to start separating yourself.
You got to take the bull by the horns. And Badou sort of has these fights in his career. He's had several draws in his career. So he does tend to fight sometimes at world-class level. Of course, you got to be a world-class level guy to compete with Badou. But at world-class level, sometimes he does fail to sort of take the bull by the horns and have these fights where it's left up in the air.
And this is the point of the fight where Badou Jack in their first fight started pulling away and really separating himself from Noel McKillian, even though it was close. Here's Noel McKillian. Pedro Diaz. He mentioned about those draws that Badou Jack had as we go and look at some of the action from the 6th.
Good close round. Again, back and forth. I feel like I'm a broken clock at this point, just saying the same thing over and over. Right there, Paulie's talking about being able to work out of the clinch and steal moments.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that may sway the fight for you. You know, in a fight that's so close, it's those little things that may really swing the fight in your favor.
Sophia, what are you seeing in between rounds? What are you hearing?
I was back in Badou Jack's corner now. It's hard to really listen in, but they were telling him, you just got to relax. Keep your hands up. Stay compact. You don't have to do a lot. Walk him down and just keep slipping side to side.
So it sounds like they want him to be economical. There's a big right hand. Badou Jack really picking up the pace here on Noel McKillian. And that might be the final arm. Big shot there. Look at that. Wow. As McKillian and Badou Jack go at it here in Los Angeles.
Paulie, am I wrong for wanting Badou to just simply do it again?
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, you're asking a 42-year-old guy, you know, so it's sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes at that age, you may overthink and say, okay, I picked this spot, let me pick this spot. I gotta pick my spots and not just go. Yeah. And maybe that's what Badou may be guilty of here.
It's a nice hook from Badou as well.
And Badou Jack certainly exploding here in the 7th round, showcasing his power.
But Sean, just the way you say it about Badou, you can say it about McKaeljan as well. There's moments McKaeljan also leaves on the table that he could be working.
Was literally just about to say that the same thing goes for McKaeljan. He does something that works, and then just simply doesn't do it again.
One thing McKaeljan does have to do, because Badou's defense is so tight, he does have to shorten up his punches. A lot of times McKaeljan is guilty of throwing shots a bit too wide and they go around the head of Badou, or they wind up on the gloves of Badou. Badou's got a very tight defense. You can hit him right there. Nice shots from McKaeljan as he caught him off the move. He caught Badou off the move there, but a lot of times McKaeljan is a bit guilty of being a bit too wide, and he can't get through to Badou, and then Badou actually counters him. Again, this is that clinch work. This is that clinch work with Badou. Knows how to position himself. Gets the head underneath the chin.
He's about to take points.
Oh, this could be huge. 1 point deducted to Noel McKaeljan, and that is massive.
That's huge.
In Jerry Cantu's last fight in his professional refereeing career, deducts a point from Noel McKaeljan.
Is that a bit harsh, though? I mean, Badou does get his head down.
And for McKaeljan, he lost a point in his matchup against Morris Bradis.
McKaeljan just bulldozed him with his head. You see that? You saw that? That was intentional. But McKaeljan a bit frustrated, man. McKaeljan just billy-goated with that head.
That's exactly what that is. Frustration. Just have points taken.
But you see, this is why Badou gets hit in the back of the head, though. You see what Badou does. Badou gets his head down and underneath his chin. Where else is McKaeljan going to throw?
And McKaeljan did lose a point when he fought Morris Bradis in 2018, and now going hard, and a right hand punctuated for Badou Jack. But McKaeljan lost a point in the round for hitting behind the head rabbit punching, and that happened to him in 2018. Now McKaeljan is facing a deficit, and I think it is clear that he is.
Yeah, that was a tough round for McKaeljan. He did some work, even at the end. He did a lot of moving of his hands, putting the punches together, that shoe shine at the end of the round. But he's having trouble in those clinches. Badou sort of knows how to work those clinches, knows how to position himself, and it's frustrating McKaeljan because it's borderline dirty, but not. But so, especially that McKaeljan just lost the point for trying to retaliate a little bit, he's going to really frustrate him. That was the beginning of it. Look where Badou's head goes right as soon as they go in the clinch. So, of course, he's going to rabbit punch. He doesn't know how to get Badou's head out of his face.
But you just shouldn't do anything at that point, you know?
Yeah, you know what you should do, honestly, instead of rabbit punching, is push the guy's head down.
Yeah.
Well, press on his neck.
Yeah.
And push his head down.
Well, then you allow, and there is the Badou Jack contingency watching. Round 8, this one's scheduled for 12, as Badou Jack defending his WBC Cruiserweight Championship against Noel McKaeljan.
He's taking that head, the crown of that head, and he's really just kind of like...
Yeah, he's frustrated. He's trying to meet Badou, but Badou's not butting with the crown of that. Badou's positioning it, so he's on the... He's on the shoestring of the rule break. He's not breaking the rule, but McKaeljan's actually breaking the rule.
Yeah.
Now McKaeljan's actually throwing the headbutt. Yeah. It's a frustration. I get it, but Badou technically isn't breaking the rule. He's right on the verge of breaking it, right, with that crown where he positions it. But he's not butting you with the crown. He's just positioning it in a way where it's uncomfortable. McKaeljan doesn't have an answer for it, and he's actually throwing butts now.
Well, I tell you what, man, both of these guys were at this level, so this can be said. Neither one of these guys are demonstrating the right kind of technique. They're throwing punches and they're falling in. Nobody's landing anything clean from the outside.
Oh, nice uppercut by McKaeljan. And that's what you want to do if you're McKaeljan. If Badou's going to put that crown down, then, use that uppercut.
Badou Jack did say that as he watched the first fight with McKaeljan, that McKaeljan said to his corner, "I'm tired." Badou Jack said, "I never say that ever in a fight. That just goes to show." And could this frustration for Noel McKaeljan be a bit of frustration as we see Jonathan Banks and Mike Basil looking on?
That was a sneaky little move off the clinch by McKaeljan. He's learning. But again, the head of Badou. Badou knows how to position his head very well. Again, notice it's not a butt what Badou does. I want people to understand at home. It's borderline dirty, but it's technically not, because he's just positioning his head below McKaeljan's head.
Under a minute remaining in the 8th round.
Of course, Bernard Hopkins said he's not dirty if he can get away with it, but I don't necessarily think Badou's getting away with anything. I just think he's playing right on the edge of the rule.
Well, listen, he knows what to do in order to keep himself safe and be on the inside without getting hit. I remember Freddie Roach taught me how to put my head on my opponent's chest.
Which is what Badou doing, right?
That's exactly what he's doing. Yeah. So it's a technique that you just don't see very often.
It's well within the rule book, and you leave it to the referee's discretion to tell you that that's not allowed.
But there they both did it. There they both kind of rubbed their heads on each other off the break.
Is MIKAELJAN allowing this to, frustrate himself? And now they're both. Oh, it's getting a bit testy in there.
No, let it happen, Jerry. Oh, let it happen.
Is he going to deduct a point?
On the break.
Wow, he deducted a point for Badou Jack.
Punch on the break.
Oh, my goodness.
Because it was, you know what it is? It was because Jerry himself broke them and Badou threw. It's
the first point deduction in Badou Jack's career. So now we are pretty much even when it comes to the point deductions. Oh, my, and they're really picking it up.
This is Rocky.
They are fighting after the bell.
This is Rocky.
My goodness, and things have begun to boil over. And let's hope that we can get control in there and get back to the corners. We still have 4 rounds to go. And nearly a melee just broke out here. And the fans enjoying what they're seeing, but oh my goodness.
Guys, this fight may continue, but they gotta start watching this after the fight, though. Because after the fight, something could really break out here.
Where all this commission come from? There's more commission here in California than I've ever seen. There's a lot of black suits that jumped in the ring right here.
Here's what happened.
Nice right hand here from MIKAELJAN. And then again, the same in the clinch. He's trying to throw the side, the top, back of the head. MIKAELJAN's kind of throwing the side of the head. Now Badou's aggravated because it came after the bell. And so, here we go.
Well, shades of Riddick Bowe.
Because, shades of Riddick Bowe Galata, right?
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about it. Thankfully, it didn't erupt to that degree.
I tell you what, you may still have a fight here, but I'm telling you, after this fight ends, both guys are going to think they won the fight. Both teams are going to be aggravated. Good counter right-handed from MIKAELJAN. And you're going to risk a righty. You got to be careful here.
And let me get this in real quick. Is Jerry too old? Is it too late to teach him something, right? He's supposed to bring both these guys to the middle of the ring rounds ago to have a conversation.
Cantu's kind of lost control of this fight. I always believe big guys should have a big referee. I always believe because you got to physically get in there sometimes, So it's not just a matter of, about, size discrimination or gender discrimination. I just don't feel like a woman or a smaller man should be refereeing big men, because you gotta, sometimes if a fight debilitates into being too physical, you gotta step in there a lot, and you gotta be strong enough and have the presence to be able to take charge.
The referee that wears
Cantu's lost control of this fight.
Usyk and Fury, I have his face. I'm losing his name. Nelson, Mark Nelson.
Yeah,
small guy, but he was able to really control that fight and handle it very well. Cantu just, he's older.
He's older.
It's his last fight that he is officiating. But could that point deduction for Badou Jack, could that reinvigorate Noel MIKAELJAN? Because it seems that way.
I mean, you know what it is. Now you have an even fight again as far as you each lost the point, so now you're both deciding it inside the ring, and it's nothing extracurricular is deciding the fight. Unless more points are lost here, which, guys, we're still around 9. There's still time to...
Good pivot there, and there's some good sportsmanship right there. That's a good move.
That took there by MIKAELJAN, and clutching and grabbing. We'll see if Jerry Cantu will separate them. I know Thomas Taylor, he refereed our women's matchup, but I would rather have seen, and there's no knock on Jerry Cantu, I would have rather have seen Thomas Taylor in there, who's a bit more athletic than Jerry Cantu. Physically bigger. And there is Pedro Diaz.
Guys, you also wonder if Badou's fading here. MIKAELJAN is really, after every break, it's MIKAELJAN initiating right away, stepping in, initiating, and throwing, being first and punching. See, again, Badou is being very defensive on every break.
It's terrible technique.
There's Noel MIKAELJAN's corner. Pedro Diaz and Abel MIKAELJAN.
It's beyond technique, champ. This is the technique's out the window. This is a street fight.
He's like, let it go.
They are both jockeying for positioning. A mouse underneath the right eye. Noel MIKAELJAN. Beautiful uppercut by Badou Jack.
And again, Badou very adept at punching in between you. And now he turned. He turns MIKAELJAN around and gets the head right underneath his chin again.
Another close round right hand there by Badou Jack.
Hitting right there on the belt, too. Wow.
Right hand over the top, followed by a left hook by MIKAELJAN.
MIKAELJAN had himself a very good round, guys. MIKAELJAN has been very, very busy. There was that one uppercut by Badou, but this has been a very good round by MIKAELJAN. I say that it might have been the best round of the fight.
I agree.
Well, gaining that steam is something that MIKAELJAN believes he can really showcase, especially having a full training camp and now being with Pedro Diaz. And the fans are loving it here in Los Angeles.
I'm still telling you right now, they got to have security after this fight, because both teams are going to be unhappy to begin with for the way the fight was fought, but then one team is going to be extra unhappy when they lose.
You know, what's funny is aesthetically, this isn't a very good fight to watch aesthetically, but there's enough drama that makes you, keeps your blood going.
They might have to do what they did in Chavez Whitaker and just call it a draw to prevent the riot.
Yeah. So this was last round, the punches behind the head, but Badou broke and then punched afterward. And that's why he got the points taken.
There's the short uppercut from Badou. But overall, it was a very active round for MIKAELJAN.
So like that round, they just started boxing before the bell rang.
Round 10 of this championship fight for the WBC Cruiserweight Championship of the World between Badou Jack and MIKAELJAN. And this fight has been fought, a good amount of it, in a phone booth.
You know, Ray, I hate phone booth fights.
It's not aesthetically pleasing.
You just got to be clean, And Paulie's right. At the end of this fight, either somebody's going to be mad or both teams going to be mad because it's going to end in a draw. And, I think that everything's going to be cool. I don't think I hope you're right. Yeah, I don't think anything's going to happen. Both guys, I can speak for Badou. He's classier than that. I don't know MIKAELJAN that well.
He's classy, but the teams in general.
If something breaks out, you guys are going to have to be the ones to protect me. I'm not the fighter. You guys
trust me, guys. The fighters after 12 rounds.
I got you.
Okay, thank you.
After 12 rounds, the fighters don't want to fight anymore. A lot of times it's the teams. When you see a little Bogolata ride, the fighters want to fight, and it was the teams. So it ain't going to be the fighters. The fighters will have had their say in the ring already.
Well, it is certainly, from our standpoint, a close matchup because it is so difficult to judge some of these rounds, guys.
Jerry Cantor stayed there saying, "Bro, get me out of here. I'm too old for this. I did not sign up for this to be my swan song."
What a rough assignment for him in his final retirement fight.
Yeah, he's like, I wanted a championship fight, but not this.
There's a right hand by MIKAELJAN. MIKAELJAN going forward.
Again, MIKAELJAN just putting the numbers together.
And MIKAELJAN looks over at Jerry Cantulas to say, hey, listen, he's the one.
Yeah, he's not letting me work. Badou is fading a little bit, guys.
I was just going to say, he's truly has fallen off.
This is again, he's playing the position game well inside. You see where his head is at? He understands how to kind of get through it, but I don't know if he's going to be able to win it.
In the first fight, Badou Jack took home rounds 11 and 12. Could this be a different narrative this time in favor of MIKAELJAN?
I mean, the way the body language is going to the fight. Watch every break. The one who initiates the next impact is always MIKAELJAN. Watch it again. Again, right away. MIKAELJAN trying to boss this fight now. It's just the body language of the fight even. He's not necessarily landing anything clean, but it's the body language of the fight. He's putting Badou completely on the defensive.
And also knowing what he has to do,
Yeah, influence the judges that way.
Yeah. Yep.
You boss the fight.
Yep. Badou, I think he just kind of got lazy.
I think he just got tired, Cam. I can't say I got called Badou lazy, but at 42 years old, in a physically demanding fight, you may have been worn out a little bit.
Paulie, you did mention about, as Badou Jack told us, age is but a number, and you said, yeah, but, and might we be seeing that but here tonight?
Yeah, that but is, the reason I said that but is because at an older age, I'm learning this right now too. You can't train like you did when you're younger. If you train like you did when you're younger, you're not going to be able to compete at a high level. So you got to change the way you train. The fact that you have to change the way you train shows that age is not but a number. You have to make adjustments when you're older. And Badou certainly has made those adjustments because because he can fight at this level, at this age. But when the pace gets away from you, you're still reminded the age you are.
John, for you, you decided to hang it up even though you had big financial opportunities coming at you every which way, and you have remained retired. So was that part of your side in the sense that, hey, listen, I'm at a point age-wise where I'm good?
It wasn't age, definitely some physical ailments for me. Gratefully to God, nothing internally, nothing in the head or anything like that. But just physically done, and I had a goal, and or goals. And after I hit all my goals, I'm like, well, what am I here for?
Was the passion gone?
No, it wasn't about the passion. I just literally, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And after it was all done, I was like, yo, this is it for me. Yeah.
No regrets?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I give this guy credit because I went to Vegas and seen him. He still stays in the gym.
Yeah.
And to stay in the gym, once you're in the gym and you're retired, you want to unretire. You know?
Yeah.
He's in the gym and doesn't want to unretire.
Dre
very interesting.
Ward said he stayed away from the gym for years because he was worried if I go in the gym, I'm going to fight again.
As soon as I went back in the gym, I fought again.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've been trying to coax him out of retirement just from our standpoint, our entertainment purposes. But what an entertaining matchup that we have here in this rematch with Badou Jack and Noel McKillian. And again, they are getting close quarters.
McKillian's got to be careful. He's got to remember the point with those rabbit punches. I know Badou's turning his head inside sometimes, but at this point, it's just not worth it to risk the point deduction. And McKillian being smart, he's going downstairs instead now in the clinches.
Especially in what could be a close fight.
And this shows Badou's fatigue. Because in the clinches, he was always very dominant. They always positioning and punching. Now, he's just using the clinches to completely rest. No intention to work. Badou, in a fight, in 3/4 of this, and a half, even half of this fight. He was very, very good in the clinches. In the previous fight, he was very, very good in the clinches. Second half of this fight, the clinch has become sort of his resting place.
Well, in May, Badou Jack won rounds 11 and 12 to win the fight, 115-113 in the eyes of the judges. There's a nice right hand there by Badou Jack. Now we're in the second half of this 11th round.
These are just two little guys. You know, he had a nice uppercut a couple of rounds ago, but that was part of McKillian's best round. Badou, does he have it in him? Does he have enough energy to summon? Because McKillian's also made this a very physically demanding fight. And remember that Badou is not the natural cruiserweight. So a physically demanding fight by a bigger guy, it has a wear and tear effect on you. And again, it only multiplies at this age.
You know, the funny thing about this weight class for Badou, if you're a small guy coming up, you're supposed to have the speed advantage. But he's always been a slower boxer without a lot of speed. So
he's been shot on the inside again.
He's not able to catch McKillian on his way in.
Badou's more so been a crafty place your punches guy, more so than a speed guy. And he's been very crafty and places punches very, very well. He's had some very good performances, but again, age does catch up.
You got to respect what McKillian's doing. You know, he's just continuing to work. He's continuing to put it in.
Yeah, it ain't always been pretty, but look, every break you'll notice McKillian initiates the next attack. Actually, Badou now is trying to go for anything. Good on Badou. Let's see here. But it's McKillian being first.
He did say that he was going to showcase his adjustments, and he's done so. Now for Badou Jack. Can he dig deep as we head towards the 12th and final round, as the penultimate round comes to a close here in Los Angeles between Badou Jack and Noel McKillian. To the 12th we go. One more round to go, gentlemen. Do you think we have another close one?
Close, but I think McKillian's starting to pull away, guys.
As you see Pedro Diaz there with Noel McKillian. Jonathan Banks in the corner of Badou Jack as we look at some of the action from the 11th.
Nice jab, trailing jab landed by Badou, but that was probably the only thing he landed the entire round. McKillian has been able to manage his energy, keep going, keep it going. Right there, another clean shot landed by Badou. But, uppercut by Badou too, but for the most part, that was a McKillian round.
It is the 12th and final round between Badou Jack and Noel McKillian. The rematch. Can Badou Jack retain, or will we hear and the new WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Noel McKillian?
Look at this energy. You know,
McKellian pumping that jab to start.
and what Paulie said, you know, that chip on your shoulder, that feeling of, you know, I got to do more. You know, that was 2 punches, you know, almost beyond the head there.
But again, Badou's going back to his inside work. That's what he needs to do. He's got to pull out all the stunts here. All the stops, not the stunts.
Yeah, the stunts too, you know.
Whatever it needs to be, you got to do it.
As Badou Jack and Noel McKellian going at it here in Los Angeles. Badou Jack hasn't fought stateside in over 4 years.
I feel like Badou got pulled into McKellian's game as well. You know, having to fight on the inside a little more than he wanted to.
In close distance they are. Right now for Badou Jack and Noel McKellian, this 12th round could very well decide the fight, guys. Or no?
I don't know. I think Badou may even knock out something. I don't know.
So you think something significant?
Yeah, I think since round 8 the fight took a turn. I think up until through 7 it was close, but Badou maybe have been ahead. But since round 8 I felt like McKellian really took it over.
McKellian has been winning this fight on my scorecard since the 8th round.
Yep.
We've had a couple of doozies with some points being taken and stuff like that, but for the most part, just through the work rate, through the activity,
we were talking about consistency, champ. He's been consistent since round 8.
Yep. And he's just been trying to control the action. You know, he's consistently tried to control this fight inside, outside, everywhere.
And Noel McKellian, right or wrong, and up and Badou Jack here tonight. Or will Badou Jack retain? Badou Jack was able to really, and there's Jerry Cantu looking at Badou Jack because of the clutch head possibly. For Badou Jack, he swept the last 2 rounds in their first meeting. Here now with his title hanging in the balance. High drama here in Los Angeles.
The wonder is, if McKellian wins this fight, do we get another rematch? We get the grudge match.
Interesting, yeah, because does he really beat Opataya? Does he really beat the winner of Zurdo Benavidez? I'm not really sure.
Neither one of these guys fought themselves into a bigger fight.
Yeah.
They fought themselves into
But the bigger names, the bigger fighters will probably want this belt. It may come up. But maybe a third fight between these two might be the best way to go.
Final moments between Badou Jack and Noel McKellian, the rematch, as we will once again go to the scorecards.
Watch out.
No, we're good, we're good.
Both of them showing a sign of respect. And we will go to the judges' verdict. Pat Russell, Raimundo Perez, and Tom Milley will be the judges in this one. Who is going to take home the victory? Will we hear and still, or will we hear and the new? There is Noel McKellian. Boy, he was able to turn it up in the second half of the fight, of the last third, especially, Paulie.
Yeah, he was, and he did a really good job to make that decision, because he didn't win the fight because he was necessarily better. He won the fight because he made a decision to push it up another gear and just outwork Badou, who I wouldn't necessarily say chose to be outworked, because Badou has a ton of character, but sometimes it's just your age. You can't keep up with that energy level. You know, plus he's naturally smaller.
And funny enough, the fight was cleaner in the beginning of the fight. Yeah. As the fight continued on, it got a little messier.
Debilitated.
More holding, more clinching. Big punch right there landed by McKellian, one of the best punches of the fight, which was just a simple jab. And I think it took Badou some time after that one punch there to really find himself and create the kind of space that he needed. But early in the fight, like the first fight, it was back and forth. Couldn't really tell who won around on my scorecard. The scorecards didn't get definitive until the other half of this fight here. A lot of back and forth, big punches being landed by both these guys. Some ugly rabbit punches being thrown and landed. This fight was kind of all over the place, but there was just enough drama and excitement to keep you interested and curious as to what was going to happen the very next round. You know, Badou had a big moment where he landed a big right hand too, but That right there, ugly and very unnecessary. Punching on the brakes, punching after the bell. We had a lot going on in this fight, y'all.
Well, no question about it. And there he saw that was what led to the point deduction. And MIKAELJAN came on strong in the 8th round, moving forward, especially in the championship rounds, Paulie.
Yeah, he did. And he showed he wanted it. He was determined. And for that reason, I think he's going to have earned his WBC Cruiserweight title back tonight.
With the decision, here is Thomas Schreiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Raimundo Perez scores it 115 to 111. Judge Tom Milley scores it 116 to 110. And Judge Pat Russell scores it the same, 116 to 110. All for your winner by unanimous decision. And new WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Noel the Dark Horse MIKAELJAN.
Minus a point each. That's why those scores seem weird. That's what that adds up to.
It was 66 to 66 and 67-65 for Badou after 7 rounds.
Wow.
And then MIKAELJAN won the rest of the rounds.
Wow.
So he changed the narrative and turned it up in the 8th round, as you guys were talking about.
Showing the numbers, guys. But I'm impressed that you.
But Jam, you also said it since round 8. You had the fight moving. I was talking about the fight. You just looked different to me since round 8. And those, and Ray, speaking of numbers, you just gave us the stats that the judges had it through 7. In the 8th round, the fight changed.
Yeah, and I just think that Badou just simply fell off. You know, that's what we call getting old overnight.
Yeah, and reversing from the first fight where Badou closed out stronger, winning 11 and 12, which made him the new champion. This time, MIKAELJAN's strong close returns the title to him.
What a moment for Noel MIKAELJAN to be and the new WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the world. MIKAELJAN there with his entire team, Pedro Diaz and company, and he is soaking in this victory. Is Noel MIKAELJAN, victory number 28 in the career of the Dark Horse. And the new champion is standing by, and there he is walking around and soaking in this victory. Wow, what a win for Noel MIKAELJAN. And he is standing by with Sofia Gutierrez.
Noel, congrats on the win tonight. Rematch.
What's up, big homie?
Rematch season. You are 3 for 3. How good does it feel to come back and come out victorious?
I was never away. I had just contractual problems, promoter problems, paper problems. But you saw, I'm fighting with my brain, I'm slick, I'm here, I was never away. So many layoffs, but again, 2-time world champion. Respect to Badou Jack, good performance. In this age especially, chapeau, raise my head, and good sportsmanship.
Is there anything that he did differently the first time?
Thank you to my team, thank you to Anthony Girgis, my boy, and Don King Productions, Olivier Tex, Aqua Santa Tulum, and of course, the people who came to support us here.
Of course, congrats, Noel. Go have some pozole verde, like you said, back in Miami.
Michelada.
There we go. Congrats. We're going to send it back to you guys.
Thank you.
And Noel MIKAELJAN still the champ, soaking in this victory. Paulie, the fact that he was able to make the adjustments. He lost the last 2 rounds, and Sofia Gutierrez is standing by with the former champion in Badou Jack.
Badou, what an exciting fight from start to finish. How did you think you did in comparison to the first time around?
Obviously, it was better than last time. No excuses. He was the better man tonight.
Now, I was listening to your corner, and they were saying, keep tight, stay compact, slip. Is there anything that they said that I missed?
Nah, I don't know. It wasn't my best performance, but he was sharp tonight. He was good. He was the better man.
Now, at 42 years old, what's next? Can we see a third fight?
I don't know. I don't feel that great. It's not easy to perform at this age, but we'll see. We'll see. Alhamdulillah for everything. I had a great career. We'll see what happens next.
Thank you for being a great champion. We're going to send it back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Well, Badou Jack, the way he's sounding, it almost appears as if maybe retirement.
You know, in the ring, you make emotional statements sometimes, and then you think about it later. We'll see. I'll tell you what, I want to say Badou Jack, always sounding classy. Badou Jack is always classy in victory and defeat, and that's how he sounded to me just now. You know, I don't necessarily take a retirement into account right now because you're very emotional. They might call him for the third fight in a month, and you know what? He may start preparing again. Right. So I can't really say. I take with a grain of salt what a fighter says in the ring right after a fight because everything is so emotional. Yeah, and later on when you have time to think about it, that's when they really make their real decision. Well, but I will say Badou Jack classy as always.
Yeah, and I think McKillian clearly won this fight. You know, the funny thing, you know, we can talk about levels. I don't think either of these guys, it's pretty clear that they're not on that next level. Yeah. And it might be best just to run it back again, a grudge match. Yeah. And maybe Badou gets up for a trilogy fight and does something crazy, you know? Yeah. But outside of that, what else does Badou need to do?
And Champ, you make a good point because even for MIKAELJAN, a third fight may be the best option. Because again, I mean, you may get offered a lot of money with the bigger names in there, but you know, the cruiserweight division typically isn't a huge money division. But when there are a handful of money fighters, guys try to gravitate to them. And right now, the money fighters are going to be Opetaya, Zurdo, and Benavides. Right. Can you really see MIKAELJAN beating them? I don't. Can you see Badou beating them? I don't. So maybe they just do a third fight.
Let's go up to Thomas Schreiber with a special presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee of our main event here tonight, Jerry Cantu, has refereed his final match in boxing. He will continue judging, but this was his final match as a referee. He had a stellar refereeing career for 28 years. He was inducted into the California Boxing Hall of Fame in 2014, a referee of 622 bouts and over 100 title bouts. He resides in Santa Ana, California, and at this time, we are going to recognize his accomplishments by presenting a certificate of recognition. It will be given by the chairman of the California State Athletic Commission, Mr. Peter Villegas.
How you doing, everybody? Congratulate Steve Bash Productions for a great event tonight. We are here with members of the California State Athletic Commission to recognize our friend, our colleague, referee Jerry Cantu. There is no other sport that the referee or official has more responsibilities, important responsibilities, than that in boxing. You play basketball, you play football, you play volleyball, soccer. You don't play boxing. So the referee of boxing is the most important of all sports. Help us congratulate, recognize, and celebrate the 28-year career of our friend, Jerry Cantu.
Great career for Jerry Cantu. Oh my goodness, as he really had his work cut out for him. And as we see, what a night that we had here this evening. Ray Flores, Paulie Malignaggi, Showtime, Sean Porter. Gentlemen, what a night.
Good night, man. You know, the action has been great all night. I think the main event, like I said before on the broadcast, a lot of drama in that main event. It replaced the excitement of seeing a good tactical fight. But overall, I think the right man won, and I wouldn't mind seeing a grudge match.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. I thought MIKAELJAN pulled it out with that late surge.
Well, happy holidays, everybody. Let's see a third fight with no MIKAELJAN. Badou Jack, sign me up for that one. What a night that we saw here in Los Angeles as Juju Ballo getting the win, remaining undefeated here tonight. He looked exceptional. And then Brooke Cibrian getting the win over Gloria Munguia, avenging her previous loss. She takes home the WBC Light International Flyweight Championship. Robert Daniels Jr.
Upset of the night.
knocking out Tristan Ham, the influencer himself. Pulling up in a Rolls Royce. Johnny Mansour looked good inside the ring. He remains perfect over Marco Antonio Juarez. Also here tonight, as you saw Mansour handling business, and Noma Killian steps in the ring and avenges his previous defeat against Badou Jack. And there you see Jerry Cantu in his final appearance as a professional referee. And Noma Killian in the last third of the fight really picked it up, winning the scorecards. And my goodness, did he go ahead and handle business. Badou Jack fought his heart out, showing what true champion he was. But in the end, it was Noma Killian getting the victory, becoming once again WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the World. On behalf of Paulie Malignaggi, Adriana, and the Schmo, I'm Ray Forrest saying so long from Los Angeles. Happy holidays, everybody.